Hello, we are going to be talking about transformation and painting hopefully a beautiful butterfly. So as you come on, go ahead and say hello, and I'm going to start just grabbing some colors and having some fun, okay, while we talk a little bit about transformation and painting today. So as you come on, please say hi. Let me know if you have ever painted a butterfly, and I'm going to use some purple pizzazz, and I'm just going to kind of start throwing the paint on the canvas. We're gonna have some fun today. And I'm gonna use some magenta as well. So we have purple pizzazz, magenta. And let me know as you come on if you are coming tomorrow to the event. So if you're watching this and it's after the time and the event is over, you can still see the replay. So make sure if you click on it, you can still sign up and see the replay. Hi, everybody. So we got YouTube over here, we got TikTok over here, and we got Facebook over here. So I'm so happy to see all of y'all, and I'm really, really excited. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Sue. Hello, Amber. I'm really excited to talk to you about something that I learned yesterday about transformation. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of this bluegrass green. And as you come on, please let me know if you've ever had a big transformation in your life, okay? And let me know if you have. Now, I know all of us, we experience births in our life. We experience death in our lives. We experience, bankruptcy, we had to experience bankruptcy over 10 years ago. And some of y'all have experienced divorce. I know a lot of us, we're going through life and we have times where all of a sudden we experience a huge health issue that we weren't prepared for. And lots of transformations. But what we were talking about in church yesterday and our pastor was saying, which I thought was really, really good, is, again, we all have these times in our lives when we knew something would be different, right? Like this big moment in our lives when we knew everything would change, when something would be different. Let me know if you feel like sharing. If you feel like sharing on YouTube, let me know. If you don't, I totally understand. But let me know if you've ever had one of those giant transformations in your life or maybe it was, something that hit you and you were like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to ever have this pain again. And you took a thing, you took a chance. Oh, let me see if I can change that. Thank you, Janet. Let me see if I can change that real quick. There we go. Thank you, Janet. And, maybe you took like something in your life where, it was no more. Like it was going to happen and then it became no more. And the reason I wanted to talk about this for a minute, and I'm about to paint a butterfly, so wish me luck. Hopefully it will turn out well. But what, a lot of times we see these huge transformations as it's kind of the only transformations we have in our life. But it's not true. Oh my gosh, it's so not true. The transformations really happen in the small stuff. Of course, we have these big transformations. Of course, we have these things going on that happen. Amber's saying she's going through one right now. Some of y'all, have a lot of really, really giant transformations happening. But what I want to talk to you about is how we need to think about how during our life, yes, there's the big transformations, but there's the small transformations that we don't even really know that we're doing until we look back 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And because we made a change in our habit, or because we made a change in our mindset or the way we think, over 10 years' time, something is totally changed, right? Something is totally changed within us. And so I wanted to share that with you because I know a ton of you on here. We, Terry, I'm always misunderstanding the questions, so you're right on track with me, girl. So I wanted to share with you, for example, those of you that are wanting to start painting, maybe you're wanting to do a paint party business, or maybe you're wanting to start crafting or painting online. And by the way, I'm just taking my 2-inch chip brush and using a little water. I think a lot of times we think this big thing has to happen for us to all of a sudden be successful, right? We think this huge, amount of work or something has to happen. And I'm not saying it doesn't. A huge amount of work does happen. We reap what we sow, right? We reap what we sow. What you're putting in is what you're going to get out. But what we forget is it's those small steps that we take every single day that all of a sudden we look back on our life. Hey, y'all. Thank y'all so much for saying hi. Hi, Kim. Hello, everyone on YouTube. We look back, I think about my life over a decade ago. We just got back from Florida. And Florida, for those of y'all that have been following me, we were actually there for my mom's funeral, and it was a really big deal. It was a huge transformational moment in my life. And during that trip, we took a drive by the house that we lost when we went through bankruptcy. And so we drive by it, and we used to live in this pink, cute little house, and that's the house that we lost. They were redoing it, and now the house is gray. And I was like, oh, what happened to our little pink house? Our little pink house now. And of course, it's not my house. We lost it. It definitely wasn't our house. But that was a big transformation. But because of that, because of us losing our house, because of us going through that bankruptcy, what happened, I didn't know at the time. I know now. And this is an electric pink for anyone who's kind of following along. But what I know now is because of that transformation, because of all the things we had to learn through that, now I know, I looked at that house, and although it kind of made me sad that they had painted it gray, however, it made me go, you know what? That's what birthed my surfboard business. That's what made me want to become an entrepreneur. That's what made me realize that, I didn't have to be a starving artist. I could change things. I could take small steps into something new. And so I want you right now, and again, you don't have to share if you don't want to, but transformations happen, yes, in the big things, but I think they happen more in the smaller. They happen more when we are going about our day and we're living our little habits. We're getting up, we're doing our morning time, we're praying, we're journaling, whatever that looks like. And yesterday when I was at church, our pastor said something that was really cool that I think that I want to repeat to you, and I want you to not misquote me. And he made sure to say that too, because he said people will misquote this statement. And I want to read you what he was saying in this. He said, he was talking about sharing your gifts, and he was talking about, and I love how we as artists and we as creators get to share our gifts, right? And he talked about how, so many of us say, okay, we put God first. We put God first, then we put our family, then we put our vocation or our job, for example. Hey, everybody. Thank y'all for saying hello. But he said, make sure, and he was talking about our spiritual gifts. For example, what is our must? What is your gift? What is your purpose? And how you can find that out. And if you're unsure of what your gift is or what your purpose is, ask a friend. Usually a friend will go, oh my gosh, you are so good at this. Or, oh my gosh, you can encourage people. Or you're really good at painting. Or you're really good at this or that. And so finding out what your gifts are. And then what he talked about is instead of saying, God first, then family, then my vocation, for example. He said God should be first in all things. So what he means of this is he means more God should be first in our life totally. First in our painting, first in our family, first in everything. And when I heard it like that, it made me so happy. It was like, make your whole life, and I'm reading this so I don't forget because this is what I wrote down yesterday. Said, make your whole life worship. God is our life into all parts of our life. And I love that because, a lot of times we can be these people that, we're going to go to church or we're going to, pray when we feel like we need to pray. But then we're not really sure, when we, let's say I'm working at Michael's, for example, or let's say, I'm a teacher. All of a sudden, like, now God's not with me. No, he's always with us. And he's always, I'm going to kind of draw a butterfly here. So I'm going to put this a little bit there. There you go. Oh, yeah, journals. Oh, my gosh, I have journals all over the place. And that one I try to bring when we don't go to church every Sunday, but when we do go, I always try to bring my journal because I want to make sure that I'm going to just freehand this. I'm just going to have some fun. Are y'all okay with that? If I just have some fun? Hope it turns out okay. But yeah, so what I want you to think about is no matter what vocation you're in, no matter where you're working, whether you're a teacher, you're working at the hospital, whether you're a hairdresser, whether you're anything, working at a grocery store, which was one of my favorite jobs ever. Whatever you're doing, God is in all of it. He's not just, God first, and then I forget about him until I need to do that. Like, how can we share God's love, especially those of you watching me? Let me know if you're a painter or a crafter. Or let me know if you feel like, I'm a little too nervous to even say, like, a lot of people have a hard time even saying they think they're a painter. Right? Is that you? Like, you're still at that nervousness of saying you're a painter? Because there's so many things and again, I think that's where, our gifts are supposed to be used. And if we are always nervous about that, or we're too embarrassed, now we're thinking too much about our own ego instead of going, how can I use my pain? How can I use what I've gone through to help somebody else heal? To help somebody else not feel alone? To help somebody else know that it's going to be okay. One of the reasons that I'm live right now and being here for you is because I made a commitment to make my life different. I made a commitment to make paint parties happen and this wonderful online business happen, and to be here for y'all and to show you hope and art and healing through art and through painting. And I made a commitment for that. And if I didn't show up, I wouldn't be honoring my commitment. And I want y'all to know that there is a time in our life when, we have these huge transformations, but then there's times when we're just we want a change. We wake up one day and we go, I will not have my life be the same. I will take small steps to whatever goal that is. And let me know if that's you. If you're one of those people that you're like, yep, I've had that moment. I've had that moment where I'm like, oh my gosh, no more. And I remember for a whole year, I was a person who, believe it or not, I know y'all will believe it because those of you that know me know this about me. I do not like to wake up early. I'm not a morning person. If you see me, in the morning doing stuff, I am not loving it. I'm okay once I get up, but I was a teacher for so many years and had to get up so early for a lot of years. Like 5 a.m., which I know not everybody, that's not early, but to me, 5 a.m. is like, might as well get up at 3. It's very, very early to me. And I remember whenever I was really wanting my business to grow, I was always hitting snooze. Let me know if you're a snooze hitter. If you hit the snooze button, just put yes if you hit the snooze button. That is me. I am such a snooze button hitter. Like, that is who I am. And so I remember making a commitment to myself going, I cannot have the business I want to have if I can't even be committed to not hitting the snooze button. Like, I have to have some self-discipline. If I want to have discipline and have this transformation in my life, I have got to have the business discipline to be able to get up when my alarm goes off instead of hitting the snooze button. So I made a commitment for an entire year, and I got up when that I had to the night before go, the alarm will come at this time. Make sure that you get up as soon as it happened. And I made that commitment because I wanted a change. I wanted my business to grow. I wanted something to happen. And I had to make that commitment. And I had to keep that promise to myself. Because if I knew, and I see a lot of y'all are like me, you're snoozers too, right? You hit the snooze button. And I knew if I could do that, I could move on. I could, do anything. I could, that was a promise I kept to myself. So I want you to think about, we think about these big transformations, but really the transformations they happen in the small stuff. They happen in the daily habits. They happen, and this butterfly is going to start hopefully coming alive once we start adding some fun dots to it. I'm just kind of making some fun designs here. But they happen in the daily commitment. So let me know in the comments, what is one thing that you've committed? Is it not hitting the snooze button? Is it taking a walk each day? Is it taking a minute to go outside? As you're trying to build a business, a paint party business, a lot of times, who knew? Who knew this art business would be so much time on the computer? Who knew that? Nobody knew that until you start doing it, right? So what are some of your commitments that you do? Let's see. Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so still afraid to retire, though, Mitzi says. Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, especially, a lot of times what I say to people is as you're building your creative business, as you're building what you want to make happen, I actually tell people to not quit their jobs while they're doing that. And, because we went through bankruptcy and we lost everything, my biggest fear was putting, my family in that situation again and not having the opportunity and not having, the money to pay our bills, all of that. I mean, I know, a lot of people can relate with that. And so I really strongly encourage you to build your side business while you are still working, whether it's a full-time job or a part-time job. There is no shame in that at all. I actually think it's very, very respectable to do that because you're taking off all the pressure of, I've got to have this work right now. And here's the thing about building a business. Even if you're just wanting to teach 1 or 2 paint parties, or you're wanting to make this into a full-time thing like I did. Again, I was a teacher for 10 years and making $47,000 a year and started teaching paint parties and quickly realized that, oh my gosh, I could make a lot of money doing this. And so I started doing more paint parties, and it just kept building and building and building. But I never quit my full-time teaching job. Even when I quit my full-time teaching job, I went part-time because I was still scared and nervous. What if it doesn't keep going? What if all of a sudden people don't want to paint? Which we found out during COVID. Toilet paper and paint, that's what was short. Everybody wants to still paint. So we found out during COVID that was definitely not the case. Painting is still something that people are going to always want to do. Creating. I don't care how much computer technology you give to people, there's still going to be this feeling and this need to create. Let me know if you have a kid or a grandkid and they've started knitting or crocheting recently. Pixie, my daughter, she started crocheting and doing all of these really, really cool things. So there's so much potential in that, so many cool things with that. So I want you to remember, I know there's that fear. There can be that fear of, is this going to work? So take the fear away. Take the fear of, is this going to work? And make it into, this is going to be my transformation. It doesn't have to happen overnight. Our transformations happen over small steps we take just like I'm doing this painting. Small steps from, we started with a white blank canvas to adding little details along the way. Now, I could paint on this thing for the next several hours and keep making a transformation. But I may grow tired. I may grow, where I'm not doing a good job because now I'm, exhausted. Some days I may be like, oh my gosh, I can do the whole butterfly and, just a little bit and have energy to do a lot. Some days I may feel like I need a break. I need to regroup. I need to take a second to breathe. But over time and over many small steps, changing our habits, changing little things that we do, we go possibly from, in my case, a bankruptcy over 10 years ago to a full-time art business. But it didn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen overnight. But that is still a transformation. So let me know in the comments, have you had a big transformation? Yes, I know you have. We've all had those big transformations. I can easily name 5 on my hand right now that I know life will always be different. This happened, now life is different. But then we dismiss the little transformations. We dismiss the moments that really make us who we are. And I want y'all to remember that we each have a spiritual gift from God. It says it. It says it in the Bible. We are all given gifts from God. And most of us are too scared to use them. And do you know why most people are too scared to use them? Let me know. Let me know if you know in the comments. Why are most people too scared to use their gifts? I would love to hear your thoughts. And I'm just taking a liner brush and just adding in a few details. Why are most people too scared to use their gifts? Oh, thank you, Cheryl. So Peggy says fear of failure. Susan says failure. Anne says fear of failure. Fear of rejection. Yes, did y'all know that the fear of rejection is one of the most common fears out there? Did you know that? Fear of public speaking, and I think the next one is fear of rejection. I don't know how it is in the order. I don't want to quote it and say it wrong. But fear of rejection is huge on that list. And the reason why, when you think about the fear of rejection, what does that say? And I'm not trying to get too deep here, but we're already there, so might as well continue. The fear of rejection, when we are in the fear of rejection, we are not thinking of other people. We are thinking of ourselves. We are thinking about how we're going to look. If right now I'm doing this and all I'm thinking about is, oh my gosh, my butterfly isn't symmetrical. Oh my gosh, I painted this now. We're going on 23 minutes and, it's not oh my gosh, it's not the best butterfly. Oh my gosh, I really don't love how I added that pink. Oh my gosh, what are they going to say? I'm actually on TikTok live here and I am refusing to look at the comments because I don't know what those comments are going to be. And I don't want to see them because sometimes TikTok live, I love you, but sometimes there's some mean people over there. So I have TikTok live happening right here, but I am not even looking at the comments. I could care less what the comments are because I know the people who need to see this will see this, and the people who are being mean and doing ugly comments, I'm not going to see them. I'm not going to see them. I'm not even going to go back to look at them, and none of that. So I want you to remember that the fear of rejection is all about us. It's when we keep thinking about us, we're not able to serve other people. If every time we go, oh my gosh, I'm going to do a paint party, but I'm going to have to talk in front of people, which, y'all, I used to be the most terrified public speaker ever. Did you know, fun fact, did you know I was so scared to speak in public during my college public speaking class? We had to do an informative speech. I actually made a ginormous paper mache Jack-in-the-Box head and put it over my head so nobody could see my face because I was terrified, and came in with a suit, a tie, and a briefcase and did an entire informative speech on Jack-in-the-Box, their restaurants. How they were doing, what was going on, everything, just so nobody would see my face because I knew I was 10 shades of red and terrified. That's how scared I was of public speaking. And now literally everything I do includes public speaking. But we have to remember that when you think about the fear of rejection, we're not able to use the gifts God gives us because we're in our head about how we look, how we're going to perform, how we're going to be. And then it takes away the beauty of you sharing God's love through art. It takes away the beauty of all of those different things. I hope he does good, Stacy. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm going to add a few more details here before we go. Yes, I did. I got an A. I was very proud of that A, especially because I was so scared. Okay, I'm going to add a few more details before we go. So again, I just want to remind you, transformation, everybody has those times in their life when they have this, huge transformations, births, deaths, different things like that we will, divorce, bankruptcy, big health things that happen, like things that we remember the date, right? Things that we will never forget the date. But I want to remind you that there's also this transformation, just like this butterfly, that takes time, that happens over months, years, possibly even decades. In my case, my transformation happened over a decade of things that I was painting when I was 15. Who knew that I would be doing this right now for you, and teaching thousands of you how to do your own paint parties and get out of the starving artist mentality. So I want you to think about that when you're going through your days, that it's not this big moment that we're waiting on for everything to happen. It's really the little moments each day that are going to happen and that are going to make you look back in 10 years or in 15 years or in 20 years, and you're going to go, remember that time I took that first art class, or remember that time I painted that first bunny with that, crazy blonde girl on Texas Art and Soul, and now I have this entire business that I never even thought possible, and I think that we forget and we dismiss those little moments in our life. So remember, y'all, as you're going through your day, as you're going through your paintings, as you're going through all of your stuff, I want you to take time to notice transformation in the little things, and to notice that great things take time, and that you're taking a little step every day towards your goal. And remember that what you reap, you sow. And a lot of times people seriously think that, like, you see people online with big followings, or you see people online and you seriously think that it just happens overnight. It does not happen overnight. It never happens overnight. There's always a backstory. There's always something that has happened before then. There's always been hundreds and hundreds of hours, if not thousands of hours, of people that have painted or created or worked on their stuff, or me and my Jack-in-the-Box speech, working on my speech, from my first speech to now talking in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people. So I want you to remember these transformations. And then the last thing I want to leave you with is, for those of y'all that pray, again, prayer is huge. Like, if without my faith, I wouldn't have the hope I have. I wouldn't have the motivation to keep going. Again, my whole passion is sharing God's love through art, and how art healed me, and how God has allowed me to use my talent of creating and painting for healing. And not only healing, but healing my financial situation and my bank account. And I always, joke. I feel like I'm kind of like the creative Dave. If Dave Ramsey had a creative, person who is teaching people how to make money doing paint parties, it's like, I want you to know that you can do a paint party and go on a road trip with your family. Yes, gas is high, but there's still ways to look at opportunities. There's still hope. Without my bankruptcy, I would have never, ever started that surfboard business, ever. Without that, would have never happened, which has spun off into everything that has happened today. So I just want y'all to know to find out what your gifts are from God. If they're painting, what else is it? Is it creating? Is it murals? Is it paint parties? Is it encouraging people? What is it? Find out what it is. If you don't know, ask your friends, ask your family members. They're going to know what you are good at. They're going to be able to tell you when maybe you're too shy to say it yourself. So if you already know what it is, type it in here. I would love, love, love to see that. And then I want you to remember, don't just put God first. Put God first in everything. God first in your family. God first in your business. God first in your life. God first, when you go for a walk in nature, put God first everywhere. And, everybody has a different way to worship and to feel close to God. Some people, that's through painting. Is it you? Because it's me, right? Like, it's totally me through painting. Like, when I put on my great music and I start painting, like, that's when I feel closest and got my, good music on. And I just love that. So I want you to just remember that. And I just wanted to just take a minute to say thank y'all all for the support over the past 5 weeks. I love y'all. Y'all have been so, so amazing this past 5 weeks, and I can't even explain how much it's meant to me. And I just want to say thank you for that. And I wanted to talk about transformation. I feel like it was something that was just on my heart today, and we were talking about it yesterday at church, and I just hopefully want you to see that whatever you're going through, whatever pain you've gone through, use that pain to help others. There's a reason that, we have gone through the things we've gone through. And I truly, truly, truly believe that we don't go through anything just by chance. Like, it happens for a reason. And then how we use it, how can we move forward, and how can we show God's love, God's joy, even when we are going through really hard times. So I just wanted to come on here and say thank you and show you a butterfly. All right, I hope you are doing great. And for all of y'all joining us tomorrow, the bunny starts tomorrow. We have a 3-day free challenge. If you want to be a part of it, I would love to have you. And we're going to have so much fun. So much fun is happening. And just text the word bunny to this number. Text the word bunny to this number and it'll get you all the details. And then we start tomorrow night. I'm excited. I'm giving away over $500 worth of prizes. And that back table is full of paints, ceramics, gift cards, one of my favorite books, Big Magic, so many cool things. So I'll see y'all tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So just go ahead and text me the word bunny if you're not signed up already. And all of the 3 nights will all be in that private pop-up group. So make sure you're a part of that. Okay, y'all have a great night and I'll see you soon.